Hi there. Welcome to Chit Chat, encouraging one another podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield. Today, I get a chance to talk with a good friend of mine, and we graduated high school a few years ago, 1989, a few years ago. And Nick Nettles is my guest today, and we will have a fun conversation. Some jobs he had, and how he has encouraged others. He's been a pastor for a number of years, and so it's just nice to talk to a classmate and to see where they're at. And we also talk about our hometown, Camden, Arkansas, and it's great to connect with classmates with the magic of social media and Facebook and many other platforms, and to see how they're doing and reaching out. Today also we have on music by Joel Gibson Jr. and a song by Jessica Lynne Witty. She's another country singer who will be interviewing in a couple of weeks, and I'm excited about having her on as well and sharing about her story. And each episode of Chit and Chat, we have a special message from Braden Marty, the CEO of Veteran Roasters Coffee, sharing about his coffee and their organization. And my goal basically for each episode is to encourage somebody somewhere. If I have 5 followers or 1 follower, and one person gets encouraged by something they hear, by a song, or maybe a quote or some inspiration by a guest, that's all that matters. We need to share encouragement with others, and the Bible, it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:11, encourage one another and lift each other up. That's what it's all about. That's my main focal point in this podcast, is sharing encouragement every way I can, any way I can. And I believe everyone has a story, something they've faced, some trials, tribulations, they've gone through, difficulty they faced. And so perhaps you may get something from someone's I talked to, someone's story. Perhaps you may be in that situation they were in years ago. And so it's just fun talking to people. I love talking to people. And eventually I'll get it up and running on doing some video podcasts. Right now it's just an audio podcast, and just a great conversation with my guest. During Nick's interview, his phone went out a little bit. He was traveling to Dallas, Fort Worth, but just stay tuned with the podcast. And thanks for joining. And if you like it, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and get back and relax. This is Chit and Chat, encouraging one another podcast. Thanks for joining.
It's the state square miles in the center of Kitsap County. The kind of town where you gotta make your own fun. So we find freedom with the windows down, cruising back roads. We protect our home with the good Lord and a gun. This old town ain't much, but it's my home. It's just a 4-lane down the main drag. You blink and then it's gone. We got white-collar folks with blue-collar roots. We get dressed up or dressed down in Romeos or cowboy boots. We shoot whiskey in a dive bar, country on the jukebox, cranked up loud. Fly with glory, high and proud in this old town.
That there was Joel Gibson Jr. singing This Old Town. And we're so excited to have him on the podcast, sharing his music, sharing his website, which is joelgibsonjrmusic.com. His events, his merchandise, hats, hoodies, coasters, much, much more. And it's so honored to have him on this podcast. He is open for musicians like Paul Overstreet, Ali Collin, Dylan Jacobson, and Aaron Crawford. And his couch concerts, which are host quarterly, live streams to connect fans all over the county, the country. And I'm so glad to have him on. And he had him on a podcast one time. His single, Country As It Gets, is played on 94.9 The Wolf. And it's Joel Gibson Jr. He is definitely going places. I'm so glad he's a part of this podcast.
All right, today on the Chit Chat Encouraging Podcast, I have my good friend Nick Nettles. We grew up and went to school together, and we kind of lost ways, but it's great catching up with you today. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing well, Joda. How are you doing, man? Thank God for Facebook. You know, Facebook, people say bad things about it, man, but Facebook has blessed me to catch up with a lot of people that I lost contact with, including you.
I'm doing well, man. Joined the Navy and moved to Washington State.
You say what?
I said I joined the Navy and moved to Washington State, where I've been the entire time.
Oh, so when you left Camden, you went to the Navy and you ended up in Washington State, and you never left, huh?
Never left. Yeah, met my wife, and she goes, "We need to go back to Arkansas. It's too hot, too many mosquitoes."
Well, that's true. That's true right there. Yeah, hey, everything you said is correct.
Before we dive into some good conversations, I got some icebreaker questions for you to get the ball rolling. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. In what year did the paper mill in Camden, Arkansas open? I'll give you some options.
Give me the options.
1932, 43, or 27?
I would say 1932.
You're close. 27.
Oh, okay.
I do not miss that smell at all.
Oh, I'm sure you don't. I don't think nobody does. But hey, listen, Jody. That smell was the smell of money, though.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
For a lot of households.
It was true. True that, man. Camden is the home of Buckshot Smith, who is the oldest active duty cop since 2020. What is his age? 95, 89, or 93?
93.
You are correct.
Yeah, I know him personally. I think all of us do.
And my dad was a volunteer firefighter for a number of years. I'm sure we crossed paths at some point in our lives.
Oh, okay.
If you and your wife could live in any country, where are you packing up and going to?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Name 3 of your favorite 80s music groups.
Three of my 80s. Okay. The Cars. The Cure. Rick Springfield.
Okay.
How's that sound, Jody? What you think about that?
Kind of shocked, but yeah, sounds good to me, man.
Listen, man, what are you talking about? I grew up on MTV and Night Tracks, man.
MTV, when MTV was real music television, not
exactly. Yeah, I grew up on that, so I remember all of them.
That and VH1. I love VH1, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good old days. Which was your favorite teacher and most memorable, and why?
What was my favorite teacher in school?
Yep.
Oh man, you know what? There was several, but Joe Manning had a strange sense of humor. Oh. Joe Manning, you remember Mr. Manning?
Oh yeah,
he taught civics, and I remember him well. I remember Miss Camp was really nice. Miss Faulkner, I remember her. She taught Spanish. She was a character as well as children. So that's at least 3 I can name off that were pretty interesting.
And Miss Camp lived down the street from my house.
She did. Okay.
Yep, neighbors. I miss Miss Cochran and Mr. Sterling, man. Those 2 were great people. And a lot of the teachers we had were great people. But I remember some great moments in art class. And I'd go back.
But believe it or not, Miss Cochran is still teaching.
Really?
Yeah. Her name June Cochran. She retired and then started back again. They still needed her.
Wow.
So she's still teaching in Camden.
Well, that's amazing. If you see her, you tell her to say hi.
I will. I see her all the time. Matter of fact, her husband just died. So yeah, I talk to her when I see her in Camden from time to time.
I just saw Anita Stafford retired finally.
Who was that?
She was the photography teacher.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Miss Anita Stafford. Yeah, I can't believe she's still teaching, man. I think what was it, 40 years?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. I see you still keep up with what's going on at home.
Oh yeah, I like to peek in. I don't like everyone's business, but I like checking in.
Yeah. Do you still have relatives there?
My parents are in Royal outside Hot Springs, and Shane, my brother's in Colorado.
Oh, okay. So everybody left. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't blame y'all.
Last time I was there for my mama's funeral, she got buried in Smackover. We threw Camden for like a church potluck. That was about, golly, I'm going to ballpark it 10, 12 years ago. Last time I was in Camden.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to tell you something. You're not missing anything, okay? Even though I don't stay there, I know you're not missing anything.
You know what? I do miss Woods catfish. I miss some catfish. Man.
Oh my God! Yeah, I think I had that about a month ago. It was really good too.
I worked there for a while. That's a great people there.
Yeah, it is. You know what? Mr. Woods is one of the most. He's an awesome individual. You know what? Little did you know. I heard they did some catering in Buffalo, New York.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked him. I said, Mr. Woods, how did you get way up to Buffalo, New York catering? He said, word of mouth is the best advertisement.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, for those listening, if you don't mind, give me a little brief bio on where you've been since 1989.
That's a long, yeah.
You can paraphrase.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to give you a brief bio?
Yeah.
Oh man, well, I graduated in '89, of course, with you, and I hung around Camden a couple of years, went out to SAU Tech and flunked out, and got me a job at a place called Bud's Warehouse, which was a subsidiary of Walmart. And then next thing you know, Lawrence Prim, our classmate who just recently passed away, he talked me into going to college. And so we both went to Arkansas Pine Bluff. I went to UAPB in '92 and started working in my degree, which I have a degree in psychology, BS, and started working juvenile there in Jefferson County, Bluff area. And just to make a long story short, went into the ministry at age 21 and ended up getting married and having 3 beautiful children. And here we are.
There you go. Yeah, my wife and I hit 29 years this year. 4 kids. From range to 27, 24. I'll probably get it wrong. 21 and 18. And I got 2 grandkids. So yeah.
Yeah, but Joe, I forgot to tell you, man, I'm really honored that you would have me on, man. I really am.
You're most welcome, man. I'm just thinking, with the graduations this year going on, I got to reach out to some folks, and I got some people lined up from class I want to just reach out to and see what they're doing and just share, whatever jobs they're doing. And so, yeah, I'm just excited about reaching out to some people.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you didn't forget about me.
When I started this podcast, my goal was to reach out to people from all walks of life and have some fun and active conversation. And I just want to encourage somebody somewhere. And I believe everybody has a story. Perhaps someone's facing hard times or difficulties. And, the past few years have been pretty crappy. Maybe face addictions. And I truly believe my verse for this podcast is 1 Thessalonians 5:11, which is encourage one another and lift each other up. I think.
No doubt. No doubt.
Forget about lifting others up. Agree?
Exactly.
So I went over your resume a little bit. You've been all over the place. You're a resource worker. Can you tell me a little bit about that position?
I think the resource worker. I think I was I was working for the Department of Human Services here in Arkansas, and it was a very good job, man. I was helping. I was helping people that wanted to be foster parents. I would bring them in and get them trained and go out to the house and see that they have everything for a foster home and get them training and get them in training, have more foster parents. There's like 6,000 foster children and maybe only 500 homes for foster parents, so it's pretty rough, you know. But I think it's like that not only in Arkansas. I think it's like that all across the nation.
Yeah, I got some friends of mine here in Washington. He's in the Navy, but they fostered at least 70 kids and throughout their home, and it's an amazing heart to do that for kids and to help kids get back on their feet, and it's a great. Oh man, you gotta have a big heart for that position.
Man, just trying to make a difference in these children's lives, man. Jody, the family structure has broken down so bad, man. A husband that's rather a husband and wife or a mom and dad in these homes, man, and you can tell by the way they're being raised, and you can tell by the moral lacks of society, and so it's pretty rough, man. And so, I mean, anytime you can just try to save one, man, you're doing 100, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you make a big impact on kids these days. I saw you were a truancy officer. You're a big guy. You're not a little short. You're a big fella. How was that work out for you?
You know what, Jody? I really didn't enjoy that job at all. That was before I left Camden. They were using me. I was a truancy officer, but they were also using me as security at the high school. And okay. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy and all that kind of stuff, man. But, the way things are in high school, you can't jack those kids up. You know what I'm saying? I'd be in jail for that, So I guess they were just using me for my height and my size and things like that, Right. But I really didn't enjoy it because they you know what? They would, and then, so I was doing more security than I was truancy, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But then when you get on, the parents for asking why their children not coming to school, then they try to become the victim, So, I mean, people just don't want to be accountable for their action this day and time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd really. I mean, it was an experience, but it wasn't all the way because of the school district down there.
Yeah, I saw you were a senior pastor for a number of years. Were you raised in going to church when you were a kid?
Yes, I was raised at Bethel AME Church on North Madison Street in Camden, Arkansas, which ironically, that's where my brother pastors at now. I was raised in the Methodist Church, and and so to answer your question, I was. My dad was a Sunday school teacher as well as a trustee, and I was raised in church. I was.
And how long were you a pastor?
How long have I what?
How long you were a pastor as well, right?
Yeah, I've been in the ministry, Jody. About 29 years. I think of those 29 years, I think I've been pastoring right at 20.
Let's see. What is your greatest memories from being a pastor of a church, and you had some great encouragement from folks in your congregation who kind of gave you uplifted you?
Oh, some of the greatest memories of pastoring?
Yes, sir.
Just when someone walks down the aisle and say, "I want to be saved," after me preaching a message of salvation, after me preaching a message, a biblical message, just when someone walks down the aisle and say, "I want to be saved," especially a young person, that's always a great moment. That's always a great moment that used me as this vessel for somebody that to want to be born again and to hear the gospel and things of that nature. So it seems like when I was in college, I can't remember this. It seemed like when I was in college, I preached in Holly Grove, Arkansas, which is a very small town. I think I preached one day and maybe 9 people came to Christ. I can't. I'm 51, Jody. My memory is getting kind of foggy now, but I think that's what happened. So that was a great. Anytime somebody come down the aisle and say, "I want to be saved," that's always a great moment.
So I went to Melrose Church of Christ for a number of years, and
wow.
The 5th Sunday of the month we had our youth would lead service. Mm-hmm. So no one wanted to preach or lead singing, so either my brother or I would either lead singing or preach. And so Sunday service was an hour long, and I was up to preach, and I practiced in sermon. My dad's like, you talk really fast at times, so just slow down, record yourself. And I worked hard in the sermon. I mean, I had the bullet points and had it down like 15 minutes, 20 maybe 20.
Wow.
And I got up there and I did it in 8 minutes.
Okay. Excellent.
Like,
Excellent.
No, you hit every bullet. You spoke clearly. We were out service like 30 minutes. It was a pretty quick service.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. Mall Road Church of Christ. It's still down there, too.
Yep, Johnny Hobby is the pastor down there now. I mean, a good friend of mine that's doing some amazing things down there.
Yeah.
You have a mentor or someone growing up who really encouraged you in ministry and that sort of thing?
Yeah, Jody, I was 21 when I think I was 21 when I was called to preach and when I went into pulpit ministry. Yes, I started preaching under a guy named Isaac Hudson who's pastoring in the Methodist Church now. He's in Alabama, and he was, of course, that was my father in the ministry, so he was a great mentor to me, as well as a guy named W.R. Norfolk. He was my college pastor. I don't know if you've heard of Smoking Norfolk. He's a famous singer. That's his father. He was a great father figure, as well as father in the ministry, and also Pastor George Smith, who was the longtime pastor of Greater St. Paul Baptist Church in Camden. He was a mentor. So those three guys, Isaac Hudson, W.R. Norfolk, and George Smith, they were really great in my life. It's too many countless to name, but those three especially. Yeah.
I bet it was humbling when you received the Pastor of the Year in 2010 from the Little Rock Pastors Conference, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. What happened, Jody? I moved from Camden. Really, the Holy Spirit told me to leave Camden, and we ended up raising our children in the Little Rock area where I stay at now. And I joined the pastors conference and everything, and I guess they saw a lot in me. I don't know, but I was from the country, and so they saw fit to make me pastor of the year. I'm glad you told me that. I forgot about that. Yeah, and I was the president of that conference for about 2 years as well.
Okay.
Sure was.
You share some Bible verses for someone out there who could be facing hard times, maybe going through addictions, or last 2 years have been pretty hard on a lot of families. You share any scripture off the top of your head that might give someone some encouragement, some hope?
Well, listen, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me. I can do all things through Christ. I think Paul was telling the church of Philippi, man, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to get done, I'm behind you. And you keep saying, I hear you mention addiction. Addiction is real. Addiction is real. Drug addiction is real, and not just drug addiction, but several other addictions that's out there, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that will take you out. And so the issue is you can be delivered. Now, one thing of my many jobs, Joe, as you can see, I used to work in drug court briefly for about a year or so with the state of Arkansas, man. And when it comes down to those groups that you have, they always tell you that you need a higher power. They always tell you that you need a higher power, that you can't be delivered from drugs or anything like that unless you have a higher power. And that higher power, for of course you and me, is Jesus. He's the deal breaker. He's the drug addiction breaker. You can be delivered. You can be delivered. Whatever has you bound, Christ died to set us free. So you can be delivered from whatever has you bound.
I love that song by Michael W. Smith, the Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper. These are the big words that he is, and no matter what we're going through, or been through, or are going to go through, he is there through the thick and thin of every stormy face.
Exactly.
Anything else? Go ahead.
So how long you been doing this podcast, Jody?
I've been doing the podcast about 4 months, and reaching out to anybody and everybody, really, musicians, comedians. I've had a few comedians on, magicians, just whoever I can find. And I believe everyone has a story. And everyone has a heel or valley they faced. And so I just thankful you had a chance out of your busy day to join me today, and just about connecting and encouraging others.
Yeah, listen, man, I appreciate you, man. Actually, I'm on my way to Dallas as we speak. I'm in between Little Rock and Texarkana right now. our middle child is graduating from college. I mean, graduating from high school. My daughter's already graduated 2 years ago. She graduated during the pandemic year, and our oldest son, he's graduating Sunday night of all time. So I'm gonna be out the pulpit this Sunday. But it's all good though.
Well, thanks very much for your time. Safe travels, and hope we can stay connected throughout the coming years, man. Be safe.
Hey, Jody, man, listen, man. Look, I really, really appreciate you. Now, how close are you to Seattle?
A ferry ride. I've been in Seattle in like 6 years.
You said you ain't been in 6 years.
Yeah, I don't go to Seattle. It's just too much going on over there.
Oh, you're a country boy at heart, huh?
Silverdale, Bremerton is kind of like Camden, Fairview. Not too crazy. A few military bases, but the traffic's not too bad. I can get around pretty easily.
So what are you doing? What are you doing? You raising goats or cattle or lambs out there? What are you doing?
Oh no.
you going fishing every day?
I wish, man. I work for I'm a supply tech for the Department of Defense. So I do all the ordering, purchasing, and I do podcasting on the side. Hopefully I can do this full time one day. I love just talking to people and getting their story. So we'll see where God leads me.
Listen, Jody, I really appreciate you, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man. It's all about encouragement, and man, listen, we all need to be encouraged every once in a while because life and the burdens of life get heavy sometime, and listen, man, sometimes all you need is a pat on the back, you know?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself.
Thank you, Jody.
Godspeed.
All right.
You bring the sunshine.
You bring tequila. I make the best damn margaritas.
Parked on a chair somewhere on the beach. Summer's not that far out of reach. I got the itch for hitting some toes in the sand.
Maybe I can even catch me a tan.
Just drinking,
No thinking.
playing,
And singing.
grab a guitar. The next thing you know is it's a party that was started and I think it's getting hotter and it's probably not stopping soon. Summer's got me feeling a lot damn better. Got me playing and singing the tunes. Doesn't matter if it's on the beach or just a place that makes you move. You can throw a party at your own damn party, not a damn thing they can do.
That there was Jessica Lynne Witty and Chris Jones singing Your Own Damn Party. And I'm so excited to have Jessica on the show here in a couple of weeks as we share some music about her. And her website is jessicalynewitty.com. And that's JessicalynneWitty.com. She has videos, her tour schedule, where you can find some of her music. And so excited to talk to her. And she is actually a Pacific Northwest native. And I'm excited to talk to another musician and get her story and who encouraged her and who inspired her. Hope you can follow along next Wednesday as we have on Jessica Lynne Witty.
It's a really tough bridge and divide for many veterans when they come home from active service. What we try to do is bridge that divide. My name is Brandon Marty, and I'm the CEO and managing partner of Veteran Roasters Coffee. There's some great skills that can be transitioned to many different industries within coffee, and coffee's fun. We're all veterans here, veteran-owned, veteran-operated, and so there's a strong connection and trust that we all have in each other through similar service, and we support each other both personally and professionally in that growth. It's all about people here, and my goal is really to help them kind of establish a new life for them and their families, help them understand the benefits and resources available, and really create a pathway to the new phase of their lives.
I want to thank Brandon Marty for being a part of the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. And their company is offering a discount when you buy bags from them. And when you use the code ChitChat25, you will receive 25% off. And he said they're all veterans working for the company, and they help veterans get on their feet, back on their feet, having some difficult time when they transition from the military. So just check out Veteran Roasters Coffee. It's coffee with a purpose. Thank you for joining us today on the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. And I bid you adieu. And good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. And thank you for listening to the Chit Chat, encouraging one another podcast. Until next time, keep on encouraging others.